All right. Hey, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Car Talk. I'm here with our usual folks, Lucas and Eric.
Guilty.
I
It's
know
good to
we're
be
pretty,
back.
yeah.
Happy New Year.
Yeah. Happy New Year, everyone. Happy New Year to you all as well.
Happy New Year.
In this episode, we're going to talk about whether dream cars exist or not. And then a whole bunch of other topics we'll cover as well. So let's dive right into it. So, how's the winter been so far?
Long. We're counting. So I think we're at 9 weeks till spring.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man,
It's minus 10 here in Canada, which is, I think, 10 or 15 degrees Fahrenheit.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, I think I read this. It was 12 of the 15 coldest places on Earth right now are in Canada.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
That's
it's
crazy.
been a brutal week or so. I'm heading to Florida
Oh,
to get
for
away.
1 week.
Yeah, just for work, but
Enjoy, bring some warmth back.
I will.
So for me, over Christmas and New Year, through all the snow and everything, I was going through a bit of a decision-making process. When I asked the question of do dream cars exist, the Audi RS5 was one of my dream cars. And I've sold it now.
Mm.
So now I ask the question, realistically, are they a thing? Or is it just the fact that dream cars just evolve as you evolve?
It depends.
Is it like a never meet your heroes kind of thing?
Yeah.
Hmm.
Like even with the GT3 RS, the number of times I've bugged Lucas on saying, hey man, I'm thinking of getting rid of the GT3 RS. It's just sitting there, not being driven. I want something usable. And all of a sudden, a dream car is put on a chopping block for something more practical.
I think it's not so much a chopping block. I think it's just you want what you can't have. And when you have it, you look at things differently. Usability, practicality, depreciation, value. So you say to yourself, I have this now. I've had it. I've experienced it. Maybe I don't really need this.
Mhm.
I think you have to go back to like the decision-making matrix when you bought that car, because the things that are getting your way now is you feel guilty putting kilometers on it. It's really a race car,
Yeah.
and we're taking it to Tim Hortons to get a coffee. So is it just that your needs have evolved,
I
or
guess
you
so.
got it wrong when you were assessing the dream?
Maybe, like you said, when you achieve that particular dream, then you really understand or see what it really means. I don't know, it's hard. Even asking myself and then saying I was going to be a car collector. I don't have the space for it, but I'll at least have four. And then you achieve those four cars and you're going,
Yeah.
this is a pain in the bum.
Is it, but isn't it like, isn't the deeper meaning in this is if you're equating it to like finding happiness, like you're looking in the wrong place.
Yeah.
So
Like-
what is a dream car then?
I have a dream car.
Yeah.
And I know exactly what I want. And so there's two definitions. It's something that's either extremely unobtainable and you really want, and there's something that's realistic that you really want.
That's
There's
true.
those two scenarios.
Yeah, yeah.
And unrealistic, yeah, I'd love to have some sort of Pagani Zonda in a crazy color scheme that Lewis once drove or something. Ultimately a dream car.
Yeah.
But I don't really like want that realistically. I have a realistic dream car. We've done my episode of car stories and I still stand where I stand, right?
Yeah, GT3.
I just want a manual GT3 with a GCR exhaust. That's just all I want. It's just,
He's a
and
simple
I think,
man. He's a simple man.
yeah, and that'll bring me
Yeah.
like all the satisfaction from
But you say that until you get it, and then
no.
Okay. No, I'm not.
I'm happy
I
with that.
believe you. Like
Yeah.
you are someone that doesn't. You're not a turnstile of cars. You've had the M3 for 6 years.
Almost 7 years now.
Yeah.
I had my last Z4M for 6 years.
Yeah.
So that's about where I am. The only thing is, I think, fine with this car, I don't want to get rid of the M3. It's
Yeah.
the first time I've come to it like a 6-year mark in a car where I don't want to trade it for another car.
So that's technically one of your dream cars then, right? No?
Yeah, it is. It definitely was, but I just don't know if I want to give it up
Mm.
for something else. I think the plan is to get something else and keep the M3. That's what I want to do.
Yeah,
But I don't think I could sell it. If I did sell it, I would regret it.
yeah.
Yeah.
I know I would.
I feel the same way about the 911.
Yeah.
I could see myself selling it for another 911, like a GT3 RS.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Like a
Hey,
up a
you-
997.
997.
Ah.
997.2 though.
Yeah.
That for me, like, hey, gray, black, red, like
Yeah.
red,
Like same car, but elevated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's-
That makes sense. I agree.
Yeah.
that. But I also see adding more, much like you. I see adding more cars Yeah, if money was no object, my garage would be endless.
Yeah. That's the key piece.
If money was no object.
object. And then I would have a bigger house. I would have the garage space to store all these cars.
Where do you stand? What's your? I know you're going through this whole dilemma of identifying as a car person.
Identifying?
I guess I identify.
What are your
as-
pronouns?
Because you've come to so many different points where you're ready to sell, trade for something else. Like, where do you stand at this minute?
At this moment, I am. I think that's one of the things that we talk about where the market is today. It's not really the best time to be selling.
But you buy and sell into the same market,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So
Same difference.
But I could maximize what I want to do if I waited till sprint or spring.
how do you figure?
I think it's vice versa.
When the hype for sports cars is real in the spring, when people come back, they're like, you
Oh, just to sell. You're thinking
sell
if
the
I want to
GT3
sell
Yeah.
the Lizard Green
Yeah.
GT3RS, I'll wait till spring.
yeah.
Okay.
I think that hype was never going to come.
And then, sorry, what are you replacing it with? Because you're buying into the same market you're selling.
Yeah, that's true. I wasn't going to replace it with anything. That was the thing I was debating.
So it's just an M, not just, but
just
an M2.
liquidate one car from the garage.
hmm
Yeah.
You don't have the RS5. You will not have the 911. So you'll be left with the M2.
Yeah, and eventually trade into something of a 911 GTS with back seats, so I could drive that all year round.
Yeah.
It's
The one
only a
car
thought.
that does it all.
Yeah, we talked about this,
Yeah.
right? But it's only a thought.
Link in the episode below.
Yeah. but I think for now the GT3 RS stays, and I would want to do something to it to revive, the excitement in the car.
hmm
So when I look at it, when I take pictures and do videos, it's like, oh, that still looks cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's the short-term plan. So we'll see how that goes and how many years it fetches for that.
I'm still not clear on the answer to Lucas's question.
I think he's in either.
Okay.
I think he's still.
It's like this thing is that expression, the grass is always greener on the other side. So Prabul he's got this great 911 GT3RS that everyone watching this would kill for 90% of the people. But he's saying, I think I want something else. But what I did hear, because there's also the saying, the grass is always greener where it's watered.
Mm.
So it feels like he's going to water his grass by modifying the GT3RS.
Yes.
And then you'll fall in love with the car again.
Yeah.
That's where we're at.
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll see where that goes. Anyways, so dream cars,
Mhm.
they do exist.
Most definitely, I agree.
I think they exist, but your dreams evolve, right?
I agree. My RS5 was my dream car for the longest time. I acquired it. And then I was like, oh, shoot. What's next?
19-year-old me thought, hey, if I could own a Mustang one day and modify
I'll
it,
be happy.
that was, yeah, I'd be happy. That
Yeah.
would be it.
Not the case, hey, Eric.
I still wish I had that Mustang. Though.
Yeah, there you go.
Just don't sell your GTS.
Yeah.
No,
You know what though? We were driving here, and I know it's winter here, salt and stuff all over the road, and like the potholes. And anyways, I told Eric I'm ready to trade all my cars for 2 or 3 Raptors. Just the road's just so brutal right now, and it's so depressing. I'm like, how am I ever going to drive any of these nice cars with
I know.
these
Right.
nice wheels on these roads?
in these roads.
So I had a scenario today going in to pick up my daughter from school, and we're in the Glebe. There is no way the M2, the way it is, or the RS5, even on normal suspension, would have made it through the Glebe streets. It hasn't been plowed. It has some extent, but essentially 2 lanes have become
One.
half a lane.
Yeah.
And there's cars parked everywhere. You have to zigzag through things, and there's no way the car has any clearance to get through some of those minefields. So yeah, in a way, a Raptor is the best way to go about handling
Yeah.
Canadian.
Or your
winter.
mountain bike in the back. It's a
Yeah,
great
But
thing.
I think that's why sports utility vehicles of sorts are getting more and more popular.
Yeah,
They're becoming super capable. Ferrari's like, how's that car pronounced again? Huracan. I've watched some reviews recently, and like everyone says it's awesome.
spectacular. Yeah,
Spectacular, does everything. They're going skiing with the car in the Alps. It's nice hips, V12, great interior. It's a very usable car you can use all year round. So
Yeah,
it does make sense.
so I guess
Okay.
we'll see
Dream
where.
cars exist. Prabhu's having a nightmare.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
there's dreams becoming a nightmare.
Okay.
Thinking about getting rid of it and what to replace it with.
That really stresses you.
So it wouldn't be an issue if I didn't build this emotional bond with my cars. I don't know what it is. I get emotional about the cars I
I
own.
would like I believe that to be true, but what about like the indecision on what to get, how to spec it? Because that you toss and turn over that stuff.
So if I was to get the GT3, the way I spec'd it from day one, none of this wouldn't even be a question. The green car, the lizard green's gone, a GT3 manual in the thing with the spec I want. But when they tell you you can't have this, you can't have that, no, you can't have an allocation yet, it's 2 years out, no. And then all of a sudden, these decisions become not so straightforward anymore. So
the thing is with the GT3s, I know like the market's coming down now, everything's coming down. I think there's better value now in buying a used example because now if you're buying a new one, if you want to buy a new GT3, they're let's say 280, 285 for a nice spec. And with that spec usually comes baggage. You have to buy a watch. You have to buy bike or something or a suitcase or 14 ties. So
give your Porsche salesman your vacation home in Florida.
Yeah, it comes at a price point. Now. So now that 280 car with all the stuff you have to buy is a $325,000 car and plus luxury tax, plus tax. Where you have used examples going for 310 and 305 with 1,000 kilometers. So why not just pick and choose the used one? You're getting a better deal for essentially a brand new car anyways. And if you want, there's red, silver, black. There's a bunch of colors available online now. You can buy it tomorrow if you wanted to. I think that whole allocation game is just getting tiresome. And it's not.
I think I saw it was an article. I don't know if it's in Drive, but people are now citing that it's easier to buy a Ferrari car, like a Ferrari
allocation. You're getting one,
than it is Porsche right now. Yeah, Porsche.
Yeah. The GT3, I think, and GT3 RS in particular,
and like 911 ST.
That's
right.
Yeah, that's like basically
unobtainium.
Right. I didn't bother talking about that.
I want to talk about that car because I watched the review.
It's a great car.
I watched the review and I really hate Porsche for a lot of reasons, like a lot of those reasons. That's why
it's Porsche.
It's whatever. I also hate it for that reason.
The guy just knocked here.
So I don't like it for that reason. The whole vibe is just. Ugh. But I watched the ST review and it's such a spectacular car. Like I love that car, and that's what I would want. It's just that
it's a GT3 RS, manual GT3 RS.
Even better. Like when I watched them, the flywheel just go.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, that's what it reminded me of an R8, a V8 R8. It had the same kind of very light flywheel, and I remember I used to jump from
the metaphor on that, Lucas, what you're describing, it reminds me of because this big theme now with AI is they're generating these fake Instagram like AI models that have, I think, OnlyFans accounts and stuff.
Yes, but they're fake.
That's what you're describing with the 911 ST.
Yeah.
Right? It's something that you can never obtain.
Yeah.
It looks great. It's exciting, but it's not real in a sense.
Yeah.
Because you'll probably never see one in your life.
Yeah.
And you certainly will never buy one.
Yeah.
Even if you had a winning lottery ticket.
Yeah.
So it's this AI.
I know someone who's
Instagram.
Who?
Like a long-term Porsche buyer.
In Ottawa?
He has places in Ottawa.
Mm-hmm.
I won't name names on.
Yeah.
It does after.
Yeah, we'll talk about it after. But he's got a pretty cool spec coming.
Yeah.
It'd be nice.
Yeah. That's awesome. I'm happy for him that he got the chance to get one. It's a great car, but again, it's a sour taste, right? Where things like that exist and people who actually like us who enjoy those kind of things and who can ultimately like afford one can't even get one, right?
So let's maybe conclude on that particular topic by just touching on the market as we see it today. You talked about how it's better to buy a used car today than it is to buy a new one, especially in the luxury performance cars.
I was talking specifically about the GT3, I think, because now car sales have slowed. Inventory on parking lots now. It's not like it was a year ago or a year and a half ago.
That Toyota RAV4 is not $100,000 old.
No, and like I see trucks everywhere now. Before there was a shortage on trucks at all the dealerships. I think things are regulating a little bit. GT3 prices as well. I think we're going to see them drop more in North America. They've been dropping quite a bit in Europe.
Like in the last 2 years, those cars were like 100 or 150 over MSRP, right?
Yeah.
So they've been dropping significantly. You'll see a $40,000 drop, $50,000 drop. And sometimes when you reach out and the owners themselves are willing to drop another 20, 30 grand on top of that. So something that's listed for 320, they'll be willing to go down to 290 type thing.
Yeah.
Maybe they were speculators the whole time, right?
Yeah.
I don't know.
So I think the market is normalizing to a point before the COVID hype and all of that. And I think it applies to more than just the E3s or GT cars, just all
You
cars.
see,
in
yeah.
general.
We're always on Auto Trader looking at cool cars.
Yeah.
And everything is not holding price. It's all drops.
Do you know what is holding prices? All the older stuff.
Oh yeah, the classic cars. Yeah.
Like even I think I posted the 458.
No, it's come down. Those have come down.
Are they from down?
Yeah, they've come down.
But they're still like
not what they were pre-COVID,
Yes.
but they're coming down. Like
yeah.
you'd look at a nice 458, like low mileage, it was probably 330, 340
Yeah.
during COVID, and now it's 280.
Okay.
I think you're seeing
So
280.
they've come down
But
as well.
pre-COVID, that car was 225.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
In my head, I'm thinking, man, I could have got one of those for 200 grand
Yeah.
before I got the GT3 RS.
Right.
But hey, it is what it is. So would you say it's no, it's a buyer's market now.
It's
if you
evolving to a buyer's market for sure.
Yeah. Seller's market is last year when you were trying to cash out.
yeah.
Now it's like in your scenario, like Eric mentioned, it's you're buying into the same market that you're selling into. So the difference is going to be the same whether you're buying or
Unless I buy new. Then
even
maximize-
you. There's lower interest rates, there's lower
Oh,
everything.
yeah.
So I think it's the same applies to a certain degree.
On a cash purchase, you will come out on top, I think.
Yeah.
Like you sell high and buy it new at
Well,
MSRP.
Like in a buyer's market, the only benefit is if you're upside. Like in a seller's market, it's good to downsize, right?
Yeah.
Because you get premium price on your big widget and then you buy. But when you're going the other way, you want to be reversed, right?
Mm. Okay.
Because you're looking at downsizing.
Or a GT3 manual, right? Like a brand new one, if that becomes reality. And that'd now be okay with that.
Okay, so then you're par. Then
You'll have to spend more.
No,
Yeah, you will.
not brand new.
If you're looking at your car versus a 992 GT3,
Yeah.
you're going to have to add money.
Hmm.
Because I don't see that car, a good spec, going right now for lower than 300.
I think they're at
No.
290 right now.
My spec is with everything in was like 290.
Oh, brand new, you mean?
Brand new.
Brand new, they're out of production now anyways.
No, for the dot twos.
That's now before they introduce it and you get allocations, and before that comes, you're 2.5, 3 years away. Like it's just, that's gone.
And then the dot ones will drop.
Yeah,
and lead
I
up
would
to the dot
honestly just pursue a used dot one at this point.
I guess at this point in time, it's a buyer's market if you're just wanting to buy and not replace.
Yeah.
If you want to sell, if you're selling into the same market to replace for something, then do it. But if you want to sell and downsize, then wait for the peak, which is in springtime when the sports car buying hype picks up at a seat.
Speaking of buying hype, Tesla hybrid Cybertruck.
Oh, yes. Let's go. Dive into that.
What a hype.
Wait, Tesla.
Well, they're on the roads now. They've landed.
Yeah, they're at dealerships. There are ones in Toronto in the showroom.
We've seen, I think, one between Montreal and Ottawa. We've seen some on the road.
Bulletproof.
I didn't fire my gun at it. I don't own a gun.
Yeah,
that's why.
I put a deposit on one.
Yeah,
$200 worth.
Yeah, and
of course you did.
Got to spread the seeds.
Yeah,
see what comes back.
I'll take $200 for things that'll never happen, Alex.
Wait, who's Alex?
Trebek.
Yeah, so I don't know. I hate the thing. I think it looks fucking awful.
Yeah, go on.
And I've now the reviews are popping up. Customers are coming back and saying it sucks in the snow. The range is shit.
The footage of the one getting
stuck. Apparently now the stainless steel body is
rusting.
No, but it's staining and oxidizing in a lot of different conditions.
Yeah.
There's no clear coat.
Panel gaps. I think Elon Musk was on. I think it was on Joe Rogan's, and he talked to the Tesla, and I think he put it well. It's really easy to innovate and design a truck. It's hard to scale it and manufacture.
Yeah.
To actually make it is really hard. To
be consistent with every build.
Right. It took like companies like Ford, GM, Toyota hundreds of years to get good at it, or over 100 years. But
yeah.
But aside from the panels and everything else, it's an EV.
Yeah, let's talk about that.
And EVs are like Ford is in a position where they don't really want to be. their sales are plummeting. Like they're not
There's
buying.
dealers that are backlogged with the Lightnings, and some of them are only taking it on the hopes that the manufacturer is going to introduce a rebate, because it's like $100,000 truck.
Yeah,
No one's buying that truck for $100,000
Yeah.
right now, and so they're just hopeful. Okay, we'll be a good Samaritan, take these on. Maybe they'll give us allocations for other Ford vehicles, and we just hope that there's going to be a manufacturer program. Otherwise, these are a bunch of paperweights on the lot.
I mean, it's not just Ford Lightnings that's taken a big hit. The Taycans, for another
right.
example,
That's right.
Porsche is even willing to fork out the luxury tax on a $200,000 car,
yeah.
which is like $23,000.
Right.
So speaking of the Taycan, because we had an opportunity to drive the Taycan, I've never driven an electric car for a prolonged period of time, and to me it was a bit of an eye opener, because it's things that I didn't expect, things I did expect. Aside from like the lemon that Richard had, he got a Turbo S and no heat
Yeah.
at all. Like he
Well,
was he
I think it
froze
was
in the
the
car.
heating system. or
Something was
something.
broken there, yeah. But anyways, at first I liked the drive. I have to say it was comfortable, it was smooth, it was quiet.
Like any sports car,
It was
right?
it drove nice,
Yeah.
but a lack of, like, for a car for that price, lack of options is the first thing you notice.
And what type of options?
The biggest, especially considering it was cold, there's no HVAC controls.
Oh, it's all computer screen. That's why.
No, it's
You gotta-
computer screen, but you can't have your windshield and your feet heated.
Oh,
It's
Really?
yeah, there's only one, like it was heat on, and that's what it was.
I know what. You probably have to pay extra for that feature.
No way.
Yeah.
So it's not as customizable as you think it is. And I think that's because of the
Even
EV.
specific. I think the category in itself is so flawed, and we're living through that right now.
Yeah.
You see, I think in Chicago winter, lined up, and they've got 10 EV charging ports. Only 2 of them are working.
Yeah.
You've got cars that are dead.
Sitting there.
Look, in Edmonton, in Canada, where it was like minus 40 degrees Celsius, which I don't know what that is in Fahrenheit. You have instruction you can't charge your vehicle because the electricity grid can't support it.
Yeah.
People are going to die if you charge your electric vehicle is the best.
One of my biggest fear with long distance trips is getting lost and not having enough gas to get back on the main road where it takes us back home. Imagine if you got lost
In an EV.
in an EV
Yeah.
Yeah.
and you're in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
Most tow trucks wouldn't be equipped to even tow you.
Really?
They're heavy. The EVs are.
I think the weight's okay, but
I've saw the Lightnings. You can't.
oh
You
really?
have to get a special tow truck.
Oh no way.
Yeah.
Okay.
I saw one
Because
at
it's a
four-way
truck,
stop.
though. Like,
Yeah.
Maybe it's the
I don't know.
size.
Probably the batteries are all pretty heavy.
Listen, they towed my GMC Denali from the private parking lot on Elgin after dinner.
Oh, on a
Just
platform.
fine.
Yeah. So for me, I have no issues with EVs.
Yeah.
I do.
I don't mind the technology.
Bring Rob back to the rock.
I like the technology. I like where it's going. I like the fact that it's offering options to consumers. But as soon as it becomes mandated, then I have an issue
So
with
that,
it.
now we've got in Canada, 20% of all vehicles must be EVs by 2035.
2035.
No, that's all must be by 2035. 20% must be by 2025.
That's-
All vehicles sold, 20%.
That's crazy.
Next year.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Which is, again, I agree with you. There's a place for everything. And for some people who live in the city or smaller cities or less commuted distances, yeah, the EVs maybe make sense. It's like, for me, I bought an electric weed whacker, okay, because I don't want to carry small containers of
Exactly.
mixed gas to weed whack for 15 minutes. But I bought a gas-powered trim hedger,
Yeah.
hedge trimmer,
Whoa.
because I want to use it for longer
You're talking
periods of
about
time.
lawn equipment here. Is that?
Yeah.
No, but there's certain things that gas powered equipment is better for than electric equipment. So
Eric is the first one to always take the mind somewhere else.
yeah,
Good
Weed
imagination.
whacking and hedge trimming there.
No,
yeah,
I
but
agree.
I agree with you. I think there should be an option. You want an EV or you don't. I don't think that pushing EVs onto everybody is the right call, especially considering we don't support this.
I'm a free market. I'm a free market guy, and if it was a better product, the market would support it. And I think, by and large, people want to do right by the environment. That they would do. I think when you mandate, and practically speaking, I don't even know how you do that. What do you say? Like you get to September in 2025 and say, okay, you know what? No more gas vehicles because we have to
They're going to track how many cars you have in the household, and they're going to go, oh, you have an ICE car, you don't have an EV, you must have an EV.
No, that's not how it goes.
I hope it doesn't come.
No,
to
they
that.
can't.
No,
they can't,
that's
they
not
can't
how it. But listen, the government we have, that's not a far off thing. 2035, that's
Yeah.
what they will say.
But they're pushing it on the manufacturers. That's what.
I guess 20% of the cars they manufacture probably have to be, but they'll just sit on the lots.
But they did roll back from last year when we talked about this. They rolled back that sort of mandate of you must have must only produce EVs by 2030 or 2035. Now it's hybrids. So now
they came back a little bit.
Yeah, they're like, okay, as long as they're hybrids, you can continue making these cars with motors in them.
How does any of it make sense when you think about what's powering the charging stations? Diesel generators, coal-fired plants, maybe nuclear. LNG is a big one in the US. Why? It just seems highly.
Did you hear about the new plant to make batteries needs its own coal factory?
What?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
because
crazy.
it has to produce so many batteries, it can't keep up. It has to have its own fossil fuel plants to provide a grid. It's just, I don't know. It doesn't make sense. That's the problem, right? Solar cars for the win.
Yeah. Is that any better?
I don't see why not.
In the winter, we barely have sun.
Just clean your roof.
People coming along.
Clean your roof and you're good.
The downside to the unfortunate thing to all of this is, as enthusiasts, we want engagement, we want sound, and there's such cool designs coming forward with the EV market. The cars that come out, the designs are just unreal. Some of them I like. The Taycan is such a beautiful car. And part of me wishes that it had a V8 in it.
Yeah.
And that's it. And when you look at least what Porsche is doing, the Panamera is a good example of this, maybe. They're trying to satisfy all these markets by creating a platform where they can put an EV in it, they can put an ICE platform in it, and you could have a Panamera. And we'll look at, maybe if you have time, we'll look at the Panamera. But I think that's where manufacturers are going. They're giving the consumers the choice to pick. Oh, you want a hybrid? Yeah, you can have one. Oh, you want an ICE? Yeah, you can have it. Or you want a full EV? You can have that as well. So Panamera has those three options. I wish more manufacturers would go.
I don't know this for a fact, but I would suggest, I think the Panamera might be one of the worst selling vehicles. Wouldn't it be?
In China, it's a big one.
No, in China, they make their
It's
own version of Panamera.
So that came out now, yeah.
It's the Turismo, or what, I don't know what they call it.
I think it's the highest depreciation car they have. Panamera?
Taycans are the ones that depreciate more than the
Most?
Panamera.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like anything EV depreciates crazy right now.
Yeah.
Like it's like a refrigerator. You buy it, you're going to lose it.
Really, like, honestly, would you buy one knowing that the cost of the battery, in some cases, as much as the vehicle?
Yeah.
And
what's the useful life of a battery? Is what?
Yeah.
5 years?
10 years. At 10 years, you got to replace the battery.
Weather?
I don't know.
Yeah.
That's a good question.
I know. Especially if you park outside.
I would never get an EV to be parked outside.
Yeah, but a lot of people do park outside.
Yeah.
I'm driving by houses and I see the cord coming out of the garage plugged into the car in the driveway, and it's -20 in the morning. That's the reality of it.
Yeah.
People have a single garage home, so they don't have 3-4 garages. Let's say you want to go full EV, all EVs 2025. Those EVs are going to be outside. They're not going to be inside.
I sure hope there's a big revolution in the battery technology that would change the game. And I think that will help.
But in what sense? What's the revolution? Because we have the batteries are capable of giving us power. I think the problem where it stands is I guess range is one thing, but it's the production, it's the manufacturing of the batteries that's really offsetting the whole point.
But I think it's infrastructure, like the fact that you have people lined up for that one charging port, waiting 4 hours. I think it's charging. I can't spend an hour at a charging station so I can get back on the road.
Yeah.
They got to solve for that. I think how you get electricity or power to the charging stations or to homes, like you got to, if it's not renewable resources, what have you accomplished?
So revolution in the sense that more range with less battery would be one aspect of it. So now all of a sudden you're reducing the impact on the
lighter car. Yeah, for sure.
So I think there's tech out there, but it's not mainstream at the moment.
Yeah, but The Cybertruck has a whole new battery system, from what I understood, and people are claiming it doesn't get the 500 miles that it's claimed. It's getting 250, 300
They
at
never do.
most.
Like they gave you this ideal scenario, like with a tailwind downhill, with no one else in the car, that you can get the 500.
Marketing
Radio off.
numbers often never ever
Yeah.
align with real life scenarios.
But neither do fuel consumption numbers. Like sometimes you'll see it burns 7 liters
I don't
on
know.
average, and you'll try to get 9. And you
I had a
can't.
Jetta diesel, and that thing lived
Oh,
up
a
to
Jetta
the claim.
diesel. Well,
Yeah.
what happened with Volkswagen again?
Hey, they're coming back with diesel.
Bank on that car. It's
Yeah.
great.
They're selling diesels now.
Yeah.
So they're back on the.
Which brand?
I think VW has some diesels available.
Okay, trucks are diesel. Like they're
How about the Cummins diesel fine? It's 1.9 billion.
yeah.
It really,
Largest fine in history. I think.
Yeah, it sounds similar to the Volkswagen thing where they had the
Which brand?
Dodge Cummins.
Dodge,
The Cummins.
Cummins. They make the engines for Dodge, the diesel engines. Yeah.
Don't cheat the system, I guess.
You know what? I think when I learned more about that, it was more of a bureaucratic process they did not follow. They weren't trying to cheat the system. They didn't submit the paperwork. I'm simplifying, of course, but they didn't submit all the necessary forms to say, hey, we've got this mode built in within the software for, I don't know, it wasn't for dyno purposes, but I think that was it. But 1.9 billion, yeah, largest fine.
Wow, that's crazy. Yeah. When we talk about EVs, I think it ties in with the latest trends in modding. So have you
For EVs or just?
no, just in general? I think one of the top trends for 2024.
I know what it is.
What?
It's going to be a big one. You ready for it?
All right, let's go.
DRS wings.
Very close.
But no, for cars in general, you said,
I
right?
agree. Yeah.
I think spoilers with DRS
Active arrow.
are coming
M2, M3s, M4. There's these options to get
aftermarket.
After-
Yeah, but
aftermarket.
they're trying to make money
a
off
little
this stuff.
Switch.
Little-
It's gimmicky though.
Hey,
It looks cool.
it sells.
You tell that guy who's putting that big spoiler on the back of that 1998 Cavalier. He claims there's more damage.
It's got DRS.
Yeah. Imagine getting passed in a roll race and then just a flap goes.
That is a
The Honda walks the Ferrari.
So that was one of the things I wanted to bring up on the latest trends of modding. But I think the other one is modding Teslas, putting V8s in them, putting
I
an
have
exhaust
seen that.
system in them.
Yeah.
I think that's the new hype.
I saw some with a twin turbo Hellcat motor.
Yeah. Imagine
Um,
that, eh?
Plaid or Model S or whatever.
Can someone do that with a Taycan? I would buy it. No, I won't buy it.
Here's my deposit.
Trade you for a GT3 RS straight up. That's a
I
verbal
like that.
contract.
Yeah.
But that's becoming a thing. Not just putting a motor in, but even upgrading the sound system for exhaust notes.
Speaker systems.
Yeah.
I think last year's, even at SEMA, they had the Mustang and other cars. Mustang, I'm referring to not the real Mustang, the
Mach-E.
The Mach-E. They have those speaker systems for electric cars. Yeah.
It's crazy to think, hunting around.
So that's $2,400 for a fake sound system.
Yes, for a V8 sounding exhaust on
Why not
your.
just buy a Bose speaker and zip tie that thing?
Yeah, but it has to react with the
throttle.
gas pedal, right? This is like a direct
Oh,
feed to
okay.
the gas
But
pedal.
look, it has materials that's very premium, it seems.
What?
What makes you say that?
Does the iPhone?
I don't know. It's a
come
full
with it?
unit. It's maybe carbon fiber. I don't know.
I'm sorry. I
looks like it's-
left the chat at this point.
Yeah.
Like, who's doing this?
And it's by Miltech.
Yeah. So
crazy.
this is the crazy part. Like
Yeah.
here I'm looking at Miltech exhaust for the M2 and then I come across this. I'm like, what the hell? Are you I guess they're into speaker systems too.
Yeah.
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 Anyways, seems
This
like a
is the
trend.
world we live in right now.
Yeah, it's crazy, eh?
We're simulating engine noise on electric vehicles and pretending like we've accomplished something.
Yeah.
Is it any different than what we do with virtual reality today?
Well, yeah, but
Which I'm also not.
yeah, but this is
you know,
but this is real life.
I'm not in the metaverse like thinking I'm like crushing it because I got a yacht and a mansion. Like,
Hey man, in the metaverse, my Taycan would be a V8 with a real V8 in it.
All right, cool.
you remember how many people were all into that, buying the house next door to Snoop Dogg's in the metaverse for $400,000, and that's what this is to me.
Yeah.
Spending $2,400
Let's go to
on a
the
fake
next
audio
topic. I like the next topic. I have a car that I'm looking forward to.
What is the next topic?
New cars, 2024 incoming cars.
Oh, yes. So wait, before we get to that topic, let us know what you think are the latest trends in car mods for 2024. We've named 2 of them. And what do you think of EVs? All right, next up. So I thought we'd bring up, oh, that didn't work. We bring up the website, which lists the.
There you go. Oh, that's better.
So this is motor1.com, has a
Blech.
bunch.
That's a no for me, dog.
Acura TLX. I think it's starting to get better looking than the
Yeah,
previous
I think that
generation.
actually it's getting worse looking. That looks like confused design. Look at the back and the front.
I'm sorry, I've lost the plot on Acura. Is that remember we had the Acura TL when it came out?
It was beautiful.
And it was a beautiful cutting edge high tech car. You had navigation. It was like 2003 or 2004.
Yeah.
Is that what this is?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Hmm.
Or
I
is
think
that
it's a bigger version of it or a smaller version?
Or is that the smaller version? Because then they had a smaller version.
So the TLX was a small car
Yeah.
and it turned into a big car.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the same kind of trend with all like Honda Accords, Honda Civic
Yeah.
now the size of
Think
an
about
Accord.
that. They're $45,000.
I know.
Wow.
That's crazy. For that money, that's a great car.
Yeah.
I'm looking at it from comparing it against cars that are much more expensive, but for $45,000, like
It's good value.
that's a phenomenal
Yeah.
car.
Yeah.
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 Especially when you can get the A-Spec or S-Type or whatever, the premium, the sport variant with all-wheel drive. And I believe you can get a manual in this too.
I wouldn't get a manual in that.
Well,
It's a commuter car. I'm not
Yeah.
rolling gears in this thing. I just want to drive it,
All
right?
right.
Blech.
You know how I feel about these
Oops.
SUV coupes.
Yeah.
It's not my best, but I like
It's-
the evolution of the
Actually,
front.
it's not. It doesn't look bad.
Yeah.
It's just not for me. I wouldn't buy that.
I'd do something else with the $42,000.
Sorry, can you stay on that for a sec? Do they make a conventional?
Yes.
Like,
X3.
what's the X3?
So the
Okay, there's
X2 is. I think this is a new car in the lineup, but it's strictly coupe formish. It's not offered in a regular car because that would be the X3. Yeah.
That's not bad. 241 horsepower
It's
for the gas.
Yeah.
And the M version of it's 312, like for a little.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
but
the
not-
M35i, I'm not sure what motor that is because it's back to N55 numbers. Because the M40 would be a B58. So I'm not sure what motor's in this car, to be honest.
Oh, it's a turbocharged 2-liter.
No, that's the base model.
Oh, I see.
But
the
the
M35i model has.
by 35s, they discontinued that series after the N55, right?
Oh, I see.
And they were all 40s after. So I'm not sure if they're just bringing it back the old motor in an entry level or like a lower Model X car. But again, it's the same price as a TLX. What are you going to buy?
Yeah. Yeah. It's a tough one there for
Yeah.
me.
Yeah.
Let's maybe get over this one. It's an EV. It's a nice looking Blazer.
The Blazer used to be such a cool truck.
Yeah.
I think it looks good still. It's just, I would have enjoyed.
I'm actually enjoying a lot of GM's newer design.
Yeah.
I find like they're for a North American manufacturer, they're
Finally catching up to the
Yeah,
Europeans. Or
I think
surpassing
they have really good looking vehicles with
Yeah.
great proportions. And I think what they realize is that proportions of car to wheel ratio
them. Makes sense.
makes sense because a lot of the cars are on 22s,
Yeah.
20s. The new trucks are on 24s, the new Suburbans,
Yeah.
like a
That's crazy.
Denali model. Yeah. So 24-inch stock wheels, but it's because the cars are large.
They're catching up on the interior,
Yeah.
but it's not fully there.
I have to tell you, man, my truck interior is really good.
Yeah.
I didn't think it was going to be as good as it was when I just ordered the truck. I'm like, it's new. We'll see how it is.
Denali, right?
Yeah. And the interior has impressed me a lot. There's zero rattles, zero squeaks after a year. Leather everywhere on the doors and the dash,
Yeah.
stitching. Like it's a nice interior.
Thumbs up to GMC.
Yeah.
This is not a new car. That's on
Pilot?
the road now, isn't it?
Oh, Passport.
The Passport?
It's a refresh.
Okay. I like them.
Yeah.
Actually, I do.
Good utility vehicles.
Yep.
Yeah.
I guess this is
The truck.
The
pickup
Ridge
truck
line, yeah, the Honda.
They haven't
pickup.
made a Ridgeline in a long time. This is coming back.
Yeah. It looks good in my view.
Yeah.
It's hard to ignore the category. It's such a pot. Pickup trucks just do so well.
Yeah.
It's
Especially
huge
the-
in Australia.
Yeah.
Like that sort
Right.
of
Yep.
crossovers.
Yep.
Oh, your favorite car, your truck.
Okay, hold on. Can
It's
I?
only 60,000.
It's not. I was going to say these prices are whack.
Is this US
USD
dollars?
though, right?
Yeah, but that car's not 60,000 US. It's 100,000 US. The Cybertruck. That's not 60 grand.
Well,
USD,
the all-wheel
the
drive version's 80,000.
base model.
Come on, there's a rear-wheel drive
Yeah.
Cybertruck.
Single charge for 99,990.
Okay. Why would you buy a rear-wheel drive Tesla
Okay,
truck?
gun to your head. You have to pick
Yeah,
and get.
go.
Would you get a Tesla?
Opposed to what?
Tesla Cybertruck.
Yeah, I have a gun to my head. I have to choose
Or
between
a bullet in your cranium.
a bullet.
You guys are crazy.
Bullet. I'll take bullet.
I personally, just for shits and giggles, I would drive that. The only
I
downside
couldn't
is
do it. I couldn't do it.
I like the fact that it's bulletproof. Oh, here's one of the
Yeah,
reasons.
wouldn't you feel like you're driving like a fucking circus on the road?
I feel like Homer Simpson designed that truck for his brother's
No,
car company.
have you seen Total Recall with Arnold Schwarzenegger? These were the designs of those cars.
Yeah, but you know the difference was they were all like that. This is the only one on the road.
No. This is where it starts. It starts with one, and then it mutates and becomes
Yeah.
10, 20 million.
Yeah.
But so the thing that sold me, and it's a total gimmick, I know it, I get it. It's the fact that it can drive on any planet.
No, it can't. It can't even go in the snow in Lake Tahoe.
Mean
It's on its marketing text. If you look at it,
Yeah.
I think it says something
because it
along
doesn't
the line.
require oxygen for combustion. Is that why?
Yeah.
And it also says in a disclaimer, it can drive anywhere in the planet or even on Mars, but do not get salt on the stainless steel panels because it will stain and oxidize.
Oh, that's funny.
Okay, here's a choice. Hummer EV or Tesla Cybertruck?
Oof. Neither.
No,
I would take neither, but I would take.
no, you have to take one.
I think
I know the cons and pros of both.
the Hummer EV is probably better looking.
So what would you take?
I'll give me the Hummer.
Hummer too.
I'm biased because I have money down on this, so I'll take the Cybertruck.
You have $200. It's like a tank of gas in a non-EV.
It's $200 more than what I have on the Hummer EV, man.
I don't know. I just can't do the looks. I don't know. I can't do it.
So you're doing the Hummer EV?
I do the Hummer for sure.
Yeah.
So before we go down this list, there was one that I wanted to share with you guys and I thought was really cool. It is the new Dodge Charger.
Is it an EV?
It is a pure EV.
No, I'm just kidding.
It's sad because I think all the enthusiasts out there will be so disappointed by it all.
Yeah.
It's a good looking car. It's an EV.
I don't think it's great looking. I actually prefer the gas powered version.
Wait, is that the Challenger or the Charger?
Dodge Charger, right?
It's two-door.
As a Challenger, yeah.
Is that a Challenger?
Yeah. As a,
Well, the Challenger has been the. No, it
It's
says
Charger,
Charger,
Daytona.
but-
maybe it's an EV version. It's I don't know.
which truthfully is how it's always should have been.
That doesn't look good.
The Dodge Charger from the Dukes of Hazzard was a two-door.
Yeah.
They brought it to market as a four-door.
Yeah.
Or they.
I don't love it. I can see the appeal. I like the front, but I just don't find it
I don't
flows
like
with
that.
the rest of the car. It's too delicate.
So here's the kicker with this that's unique, and I don't think any EV is doing this. They're offering a manual transmission.
Yeah, that's another fail.
I don't know how that works.
But would you want one even?
I'd be curious.
Is it in the same?
There's no sound. Just
Is it the same way that the Miltech offers the exhaust?
No,
It makes you believe you're shifting.
I'd
gears?
like to learn more. If you all know, let us know how it's set up. But it seems like it's a 3-pedal manual.
What's
okay.
with the symbol there in the middle?
It's EV, Eric.
It's radioactive.
Yeah, that's what I.
There's a nuclear plant in the motor. It's splitting atoms inside there.
It's manufactured on 3 Mile.
It's a
Island.
rolling Chernobyl.
All right, just checking on time. We're about 15 minutes in.
Yeah.
15 or 50?
50.
50. Okay.
All right, let's skip these $40,000.
The
Hondas?
ZDX is awful.
So I have to call out this one.
Why?
I thought this looked really good. Not with the silver front. If you black it
You know
all
what?
out.
I kind of like the silver. I find like I think a lot of cars are going to the full blackout trim stuff, and it's becoming too common and almost cheap. I think a nice contrast aluminum does look refreshing,
So
especially with
they have a bronze contrast finish too. So on an Audi Q8 with a bronze contrast with either a black or that blue,
yeah.
oh, it would look so
I think it would look sharp. Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's I would take the SQ8 or RSQ8 over a Urus any day.
100%.
I think it's
Yeah.
a much better.
I agree. It's more proportionate, classy.
The SQ8 has a twin turbo V8.
Yeah.
it's going to sound as good as the Cayenne S
Yeah.
for a fraction of the cost.
The SQ8 is, I see there, 500 horsepower. So
Yeah.
That's-
No, it's a good looking car. I agree. Skip it. Just skip it.
Are we skipping EVs altogether?
Just skip that. These are all boring cars like Honda. Okay. All right, guys.
he's really
I'm
excited for 2024.
I'm looking forward to the M5.
Oh, okay. Let's go.
Let's look at the
On
M5.
the L's, how do we miss the MB?
I don't know.
Yeah.
But this is big news because they released
Okay, what's exciting about the new M5?
they're keeping it a twin turbo V8 with hybrid technology, but it's going to be probably the most powerful and I'd say where's the they have it render, yeah.
Oh, the render, yeah.
It's very close to what it's I think if what's his name, Matt from
Oh yeah, Carwow.
Carwow, he did a pretty good render on it. They took all the spy shots and put it together.
I will say the M5 release has always been one of those cars that
Like that one, yeah.
really impresses when it hits. Unlike the other BMW, like the G80 stuff, like the M5 is always this
Yeah.
world beater performance. It's better than sport.
Like,
That looks cool.
That looks
it looks
fantastic.
amazing.
That-
No, although haters will hate because it's
I
gonna
don't think
have.
haters gonna hate.
No, that's a great looking car. Awesome proportions. Even though I'm assuming it's going to be a bigger car, the proportions and at least the renders look on point. It's got the rear end is nice. It's very European without
Yes.
being overdone.
I agree.
It's going to have all-wheel drive. It's going to have a twin
Will it be
turbo
like
8
600 horsepower kind of
more. This is going to be a 750 horsepower car.
Right. They
So-
always do that.
So the
They're
folks
great.
that hate the M2, the G87, will hate these lines.
I don't think so.
I don't
Is
know
that
about
they
I
say-
think this looks beautiful. Like it looks.
I
cool.
love
this,
it.
this
I
may
love
not
it.
be it. Let's be
Yeah.
realistic.
Yeah.
Right? But that grill on the front on the red car, the red is wonderful.
So for comparison's sake, bring up the i5.
Oh, do we really? We
Well,
want to.
because that's the 5 Series electric version.
Oh.
So that's the debut of the car, right? So go to the red one there in comparison's sake. It's going to be based on more or less,
Like the grill isn't that offensive G80 grill.
yeah. But it's going to be based on this car. That's
Yeah.
what the M5 is based on. It's going to be
Right.
wider. It's going to have different.
Wait, there was the M60. Yeah, that's
Yeah, that's the one. That's the i5. So that's the electric version. So now add some bumpers, add more flares, add the hood, just accessories that the M's going to have.
Yeah.
Combined with the motor, the hybrid system they're going to introduce in the V8, I think it's going to be a great performing, sounding looking car.
So speaking of BMW, they're one of the brands that are pushing back on this whole
EV.
pure EV thing. They're like, we're never going to give up ICE cars.
Yeah.
Our enthusiasts are still going to have ICE cars for as long as they can. And they're going to make it so with all the EVs that they're producing in parallel to that, right?
Yeah.
And the Japanese market is another one too. Like Toyota, for example, saying,
yeah.
"Look,"
Toyota said they won't
Hybrid only, I guess. eh?
hybrid. Only. Yeah.
and what were they saying? They had a big infographic that they shared as well, where they were saying the amount of EVs, pure EVs that they have to build and the impact it has on the environment is exponentially greater than it takes them to produce twice as many
I've been saying that for
hybrids.
Yeah. And they're right.
Yeah.
You know why? Because Japanese scientists and they know
Yeah.
what they're talking about.
I think the one stat just on an individual car level is you have to drive, I think, an IC car 7 years before you cross the threshold. That's what an EV, the carbon footprint of EV car,
Wow. That's
Yeah.
crazy.
just to make it is 7 years of driving an IC car.
Yeah. And by that time, it needs a new battery.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. That's what they're saying too.
Yeah.
And then replacing the battery is not a cheap thing either.
Yeah. Changing batteries, dealerships only know so much about EVs so far because we haven't reached that level of
Yeah, critical mass. Really.
yeah. But wait till, let's say they do become a necessity for, or ruled to be a necessity by 2035.
Mhm.
And then 10 years from then, you need battery swaps and everyone's overwhelmed with battery swaps and services are all about battery swaps. It's going to be hectic. It's going to be nuts.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Shall we wrap it up?
Yep.
Yeah, I think so.
That was a good chat. Thank you. Hope you enjoyed the whiskey.
Yeah, it's good.
And as for you all, thank you for watching. We're going to try and make this regular. If you enjoy this one, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. I think I have a few remote guests signed up as well. Hopefully you guys are able to join that as well.
What does that mean?
Remote
Uh,
gas.
So I'll have some people joining us into the podcast
Oh, like
Um,
they'll from where?
from the UK,
Oh,
Oh,
awesome.
from
Very
the
cool.
US.
Nice.
okay. Can I invite people remotely?
Yeah, if you want,
Okay.
if
All right.
they're around.
All right.
It's going to be a test. We'll see.
Are you going to invite Adam 22 or?
Oh,
No.
No, okay.
okay.
So he's not coming for Bull.
All right. Thank you all for joining me on this episode of Car Talk. We'll see you all in the next one.
All right. See ya.
Bye.